How's everybody doing today? Good. Awesome. Did you guys get to tune in last night to the show and the classes? Did you enjoy it? That's okay, Nadine. We're going to have it's available for replay. So you can check it out when you have a time on your hands. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in. Kate did not pair me with a introducer and all of that. She's like, you can take care of it yourself. So I was like, okay. So I'll introduce myself to you guys. And then I know in the description it just says I'm doing branding. That's because I had so much other stuff on my plate for this weekend that I wasn't 100% sure on the theme, but I settled on 7 steps for branding. And we're just going to talk a little bit about um, either for your course or your quartet, just a little bit way to establish yourself more in consistency so that people are recognizing you more. There are courses in our region that really do a great job with some aspects of this. And I'll just give you a heads up. I didn't use examples because I try to keep an even playing field, but we'll talk about some things. And you guys, all of my classes are always discussion based. So feel free to jump in and give me examples of things that you have seen, or if you have questions or anything like that. All right. So I'm going to start. Let me get my screen shared here with a little bit about myself. Got 2 different slideshows. So, all right. So my name is Lara, but most people call me Lala. And probably the most common question I get is how I started getting called that, because it is kind of weird. But basically, I joined Royal River, and I became a tenor, and there were 3 other tenors named Laura, and Laurie, and they said, "We need to be able to call you something else. What can we call you?" And I didn't think they'd settle on this, but I said, "Well, my family has called me Lala my whole life." And they're like, "Perfect, that's your name." And it stuck and spread throughout Sweet Adeline's Region 1, all that. So that's my Sweet Adeline's name, Lala. So I sing with Royal River Chorus as a tenor, and I'm also the marketing coordinator. I also sing tenor in Millennium Magic, and I don't have an official role in Millennium, but we kind of all just participate in lots of things there. So and then I am the marketing coordinator on the regional management team for Region 1. I live in Portland, Maine, with my partner, also Laura. Another good reason for me to have another name. She's also a Sweet Adeline. She sings lead with Millennium Magic. And those are our dogs, Roxy and Daisy. A little bit about me outside of Sweet Adelines. I love photography. It's a passion and hobby of mine. I really like to travel. I obviously love to sing. And this is Royal River, I think, at our Friends and Family in 2019. And then this is Millennium at International with our trophy in 2019. Okay, this is an old class, this is my life is a little bit crazy. So, okay, I'm going to share first with you guys just this video that is simple, but it really kind of wraps branding into a pretty little bow without breaking it down. And it's just really powerful. And I think you'll enjoy it. So pay attention closely to the words that this man says. They're very impactful, and I think it'll help you with the conversation today. Look, I teach Zoom stuff sometimes, and I can't even do it myself today. There we go. Gotta have it pulled up first.
What is branding? Writers want to think it's about us, our brilliant talent, skills we perfected over the years. All these magical things: color, space, shape, mission. simplicity. Then why do certain brands become great brands? Brands that connect, resonate, and spread like wildfire. It's because we tapped into our ability to see, not as ourselves, but as others. To see the minute details and trends others don't see, not just on the computer screen, or in books, or in galleries, but in and through the eyes, hearts, and minds of people. Geniuses have that special skill to look at the universe of people and translate that into the universe of visual and written communications, to transform those observations we each sense into something we can each tangibly see and understand. That is the magic. That is the spark. That genius is interested and keeps us going. Something greater, for something previously impossible, something nobody ever thought of before. That is the magic of branding.
All right, so I love that video. He talks about color, space, shape, tension, harmony, typography, beauty, simplicity, and those are all the elements that can come into branding, but also thinking outside of the box, doing something someone's never done before, um, conveying the magic that is you. So we're going to talk a lot about these things and break it down a little bit more. But keep in mind those words that he said. I have them written down because I know that went by kind of quickly. Um, but I think that it'll help you guys think about a few things that we're talking about. All right. So let's get this slideshow back up. And all right, so the 7 steps to creating your brand identity. So a lot of times when people say the word brand, it's used pretty loosely these days, I think in the marketing world, but also everywhere. It's like, what's your brand? I'm branding this. This is my brand. People use it for themselves. They use it for their businesses. Obviously, today we're going to be focusing on how it can be used for choruses and quartets. So I just want to, a lot of times people use the word brand to describe their logo. And those words are not synonymous. A logo is a part of the brand, but a brand is so much more. A brand includes, personality, emotion, and even a philosophical way of approaching things that your group is. So your group's philosophy on your culture and music and how you treat each other, the emotional connection that you want people to have to your chorus is a part of your brand. Brand identity is where the logos, the colors, all the themes that we put into it. If you have a theme song, if you have specific pictures that you use over and over again, that's brand identity. So your brand is really an all-encompassing thing, and your brand identity is how people identify you visually. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're going to really jump into the 7 steps. Does anybody have any questions so far? Patty, are you watching the chat for me? Okay, thank you. All right, so first step, you want to establish a clear purpose and positioning. So your brand's purpose is the overarching reason for your existence. And this, in our world of chorus and quartets, is pretty deep. What, like, the overarching reason for our existence. I think that there's not one thing. There's like an umbrella of things that, multiple pillars that make up this arch that create the reason for our existence. Does anybody want to talk about the reason for our existence as Sweet Adelines, chorus members, quartet members? Anybody?
Don't everybody talk at once now.
I think the music is probably one of the first things I think about, like making music with
Yeah,
other women.
definitely. Exactly. Making music with other women. I think of things like connection to our course, to our the people that we're on the risers with and the people that we're singing to. So connection is a brand purpose to me. Anybody else? We've got music, connection.
I think that it has a lot to do with, and I think I just lost my brain here. For me, it's women empowering other women, you know, that we're strong and capable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think one of the awesome, unique things about Sweet Adelines, in that we're a women's organization, is we have the opportunity to empower each other through music, but also through the connections that we make with each other and the personal journeys that we go on with each other. Our choruses often become our families. Our region can sometimes become our family. And through that connection, we're able to empower each other. And I think empower women on a greater scale, through our performances and things like that. So I completely agree with you. So music, connection, empowerment. What about the message that we're sending out through our song, like the types of songs that we sing, the attitude we present when we're performing? You feel like the message that we put out to really the world now with the virtual ability to share everything, that you feel like that's a reason that we exist, to put out
We have a comment, let's see. Regarding the music, making music in the barbershop sounds specifically also for enjoyment.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think the cool thing, so when you guys are really getting to it without, when you were looking at your brand purpose, you're looking at what makes you stand out. And we're going to get to that later. But what makes us stand out is that we're a women's organization, that we're barbershoppers. And then each chorus or quartet has their own set of things that make you unique. And that you want to play to that. You want to make your uniqueness stand out. All right, we will move on. So the second part of establishing a clear purpose and positioning. So positioning is just who is your audience and what makes you stand out. So who are you going to convey this brand purpose to? And the whole point of this is to get new members, to get gigs, to grow our organization. So that's what you want to be thinking about. And when you create a brand that's recognizable, people will, there's something about, maybe they don't come to your first show or your second show or your third show, but they've seen your brand and it's consistent, and then you're getting their attention, and then they come to your fourth show. So it's about longevity, it's about building. So positioning is who is your audience and what makes you stand out to them. So there's a way to find this out. I think we kind of common sense know who our audience is in a broad spectrum. Women, what makes you stand out to them? Well, we're singers. But then you want to take that down to your chorus. And I try not to think about this as we're in competition with other choruses, because in the marketing world of business, that's what positioning is. It's who is your audience and what makes you stand out to compete with your competitors. But I think in Sweet Adelines, we don't want to, I don't think, I've never heard someone say, you should come here instead of going there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we say, here's some options around you. And typically it's what's closest and most convenient. So you want to focus more on what makes you stand out, just because you want to stand out, not because you're competing against other groups for members. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And Lala, I have a question. Maybe you're going to get to this later. So if you are, just, that's fine. Nowadays, I know in my chorus and maybe in everybody else's chorus, we really want to try to appeal to a younger demographic.
Mm-hmm.
So that would probably affect how we're putting ourselves out there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, it would. And I think yes, I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but Gail and Amanda are teaching a class later today about attracting younger members. And I think that's a great follow-up to this class. You can kind of combine the two. And I don't know that they're necessarily approaching it from a marketing standpoint, but you can, I don't know what I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'm going to it, but you can take any knowledge you have and apply it to your marketing plan. So yes, you want to stand out to who you want to attract. So that's why you have to decide who is your audience. And it can be different depending on what you're doing. So you can have a marketing plan for gigs and you can have a marketing plan for attracting members if you want to put the time and effort into those two marketing plans. So positioning, you just want to make it clear. And I really encourage you, this is going to be posted. So if you have a marketing team, and I know that's kind of laughable because most of us are a team within ourselves, but if you have the time to kind of workshop this a little bit, and maybe that's something a couple of marketing people have asked me to do, like just a class, not in a regional event. So maybe I could do a workshopping thing where we workshop this a little bit, but write out what you think makes your course stand out. Write out who you think your course wants to attract, and really pay attention to those things. And there's some steps you can do to create your positioning. So we're going to move on to that. Okay, so second, conduct research with those you already are reaching. So this can kind of be as shallow or in depth as you want it to be. And again, in the marketing world, the second step is like you create a whole marketing schematics plan and you like do a poll to see how many people have purchased these items. And that's not what I'm talking about. Right now, what with us, you want to talk to your course members who are already there, poll them, see what attracted them to the course, what's keeping them there. It might be things that we think we know, but maybe there's things we don't know. And sometimes you can ask the hard questions and ask the people that leave why they're leaving and add that to your research. Because you want to know what brings people in and what pushes people away, because that's going to help you with the final decision of how to reach people. You can also find clever ways to, if you're at a show, you have a show, and guys, I know a lot of this applies to real world, non-COVID. Unfortunately, that's how so many things are. But let's say you have a show and you want to understand what makes people come to your show. Have a table. If with something that's enticing, maybe you have a baked goods table, and if they fill out a survey, they get to pick a cookie off the table or something like that. And make it short, make it not complicated. But so you're understanding why where did they hear about you? Why did they come? Is it just because they know somebody on stage and they're being supportive, or did they see a flyer at a coffee shop? So you want to know what you're doing right and what you can do to improve to bring those people into you. Does that make sense? Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far or comments? Or, I mean, you guys could add to this too. I'm not like, we all are doing this. So I'm okay if you want to add a teaching moment.
Nothing in the chat.
All right. So the third step of the 7 is to determine or define your personality. So one thing I know about Sweet Adelines is we all have a heck of a lot of personality. However, sometimes it's hard to convey that in our marketing. And I think this is another workshopping thing, is what do you want to come across about your course or quartet? Do you want to seem funny? Do you want to seem serious? Do you want to seem upbeat? Do you want to seem empowering? There's so many things. It doesn't have to be one thing, but you can really, like, for example, in your logo. Now, I know we all have established logos, but we're going to talk a little bit about the idea of revamping things. So let's say that in your logo, you want to come across as a funny group. I'm just going to put that out there. And your logo is like a black square with the initials of your chorus in it. That's opposite things. So funny would indicate whimsical font, like not straight lines and things like that. And you can look up through different searches images that depict, like, you can try, like, you want to, if you're doing a logo, you can do like geometry, because a lot of logos are geometrical, and you can look up like geometry representing humor, and it will come up. It's really interesting. So you can start to do those things, look at images that represent empowerment, and you're not going to copy those things that other people have created, but it will give you an idea that you can put all these pieces together and maybe revamp your logo if that's something that you're looking to do. Region 1 is doing that right now, and we decided our personality is our members. We are our members. And so that's why instead of the RMT creating a logo, we put it out to the membership, and we wanted to see what came in. And we don't know if we're going to choose one, if we're going to combine two, we don't know what's going to happen yet. But that's the reason we decided to do that. We had, I don't know if you don't know, we had a logo contest, and we have some submissions, and they're good. And we're really looking forward to figuring out which one represents us best and if we need to combine things. But that's the way we chose to approach it. And so, because our philosophy is everyone in Region 1 matters, we wanted the logo to come from the membership. So I think you can arrive at your rebranding in whatever way feels best to your group. If that's a journey that you're on, you don't have to rebrand. I'm not saying that, but I think that even if you want to keep the logo you have, it's still good to define your personality, so that moving forward, as you post things online, as you announce performances, announce membership drives, you're doing it with a personality that you want to convey, and it's consistent every time you present something to the outside world. And this is going back to, this is kind of, most of us have logos. So I know this is in there. It's just part of this 7-step process of branding, but you can always polish up your logo. So maybe just take a look at it with your management team and see, like, is this still feel like us? And if you're like, absolutely, then you're good to go. If you look at it and say, does this still feel like us? And you're like, not really, then think about what it could look like to redo that. And you'd be surprised. You want to put your logo on absolutely everything, into videos, on the bottom corner of photos. You want to have it on your Facebook page, on your Instagram, on your website. It's everywhere. So you want it to represent you, because it is seen all the time, or at least it should be. One of the steps that's not in here, because it's not really a step, but I'm going to talk about it, and I guess right now is a good time, is consistency. So there's a lot of other things you want to be consistent with, but you know what, actually I'm going to hold that, because I think that needs to come at the end, but just hold that in your mind. Consistency is so important with branding. So you don't have to create a new logo, guys, but it is a good idea at some point in your time to always take a new look at your logo, like every 3 to 4 years, and say, does this still represent who we are? Because we all change. Choruses change, they grow, they get smaller, they ebb and flow, and leadership changes. So you want to make sure that it's always who you are. Okay, so 5th, create an attractive color palette. This is something that can become a little bit muddled down if we worry too much about it. But basically what I can say from my experience is, like, when I do an event, I stick to the same color palette. So you might have noticed from Winter Regional, it was all blues, whites, grays, because that I didn't try to stray too far from that. But I did have supportive color. So when I wanted a pop of color, I had some yellows in there. With your chorus or quartet or anything you're doing, if you guys want to, be on the RMT one day, or be on the marketing team for the region, or you do marketing for International or Harmony Incorporated or something like that, these are all still apply. So if you have, for Royal River, we have a color palette that we always stick to with supporting colors. And no matter what, like, our background on something's always blue with black and white, with our supporting colors being, we have some like pale pinks and stuff that are supporting colors. So basically, the whole point of this is you go back to your logo, and your logo is consistent. And then you go to your colors, and you always are using the same colors. And people are seeing, like, Coastline uses purple in their logo, and I've seen it in like their stuff a lot. There's a consistency there. When I'm making slides for international to cheer on our choruses, I almost always use purple for Coastline because that's what they have associated with me in my brain. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but they use that color so often that I associate Coastline with purple. I associate Millennium Magic with pink because the pink, like, there's pink costumes and there's pink font and all these things. Like, you get associated with things pretty quickly. And so using the same colors over and over again that's attractive and easy to use is your best friend in marketing. And it gives you, when you have a set plan, you'd be surprised how creative you can be because you don't have to worry about what color it's going to be. You know, this is the colors that we use, and you can go from there. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Sometimes I talk a little fast, so just stop me if. Okay. So select professional typography. This is mostly when you're creating flyers and things like that. There's just a few rules. You don't have to use like a specific font necessarily, but the rules that you generally want to follow in branding is, I think it's great if you find a font that you use a lot of the time, just because it makes it easier on you, and every little detail that you use consistently adds to your branding. It adds to your identity in the outside world. But some tips of what not to do for typography, or to do, here's some tips. Don't get too fancy. Sometimes it's hard for people to read, or it just doesn't, it's distracting from the message you're trying to convey. Don't mix fonts in the same sentence. So you can mix fonts, like, I'll show you a mixed fonts example that's great. But this mixed fonts example, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, come back. Sorry, guys. Okay. So here's an example of how not to mix fonts. And here's an example of how to mix fonts. So these are contrasting, they're different, but they're in two separate lines. And that's a really good way, especially in a flyer, you can like have different messages stand out from one another. And then you just don't want to over hyphenate. I know this sounds silly, but I've seen it, and it's like your brain stops reading it correctly and it's distracting to the reader. So that's just a really simple step. It's not that important, but it's a detail that people pay attention to. So I just wanted to throw that in there. All right, so the 7th step is to choose on-brand supporting graphics. So what this means is you want to have as a marketing coordinator, a marketing support person, you want to have a library of graphics that you have access to at all times. Photographs from events and that you can pull from whenever you need something, really good stuff from contest, or from even like that someone took at a show you had at a baseball game that turned out really great. You just want to have on-brand supporting graphics. Create different versions of your logo that you can throw in at a moment's notice. So like if you have a day to like play with something and just make like 2 or 3 versions of your logo, throw it in there and you'll have those to choose from. So when you have a library of on-brand supporting graphics to choose from, then it just makes your creating easier. You can take a really good thing for us that's on-brand supporting graphics are those from Sweet Adelines International. They have a marketing library that you can download, and there, if we on our website and all of our social media say we're Sweet Adelines International, then that automatically supports our brand. It might not necessarily match our brand, but it's a supporting graphic. I'm trying to think of something. So, for example, here's a good example is that for an event, because I do the events for Region 1, I create an overarching graphic. So for Winter Regional, it was that treble clef snowman. That was the overarching graphic. But then I had a support library of graphics of snowflakes, little icy whooshes, a mug of hot cocoa. Like I had like 10 different supporting graphics. And why they supported that is they were in a similar color pattern. They were on the same theme, and they were good to pop into things where that didn't work or it needed more artwork. So that's kind of a small scale example of how I used one graphic and then had supporting graphics underneath it. Does that make sense? And so the brand of Winter Regional or Winter Wonderland was that Winter Wonderland with the one that had the hat on and the snowman. That was the brand for this program. And then all the supporting graphics came in from there. I'm trying to use something that you guys have seen recently so that it makes a little bit more sense.
And it's my background in case you can't remember.
Yes, it's Patty's background. So I know we have a lot of time left, but I want to discuss some things. But so in summary, it does take work to get your brand where you want it to be. I feel like because brand is used so loosely, it feels like almost easier than it actually is. But there's so much available to us as Sweet Adelines at the international level, and I am always available to call. And I am not an expert. I wouldn't call myself an expert. I would say I have a lot of experience. But if I don't know the answer, I will help you find the answer. And I really want to help people workshop these things and figure out what's best for their chorus, or quartet. So the 7 steps were our establish purpose and positioning. And I just want to go over that again. So the purpose is the overarching reason that you exist. The positioning is the people that you're wanting to reach, for your membership and for your audience. Conduct market research. This is for a actual. Sorry, I did this presentation for non-singers, but the market research was asking your chorus and your audience members why do you come, why do you leave, what attracts you, what pushes you away. I think that's a really good way to figure out how to hone down what we want to put out to the world to bring people in. And
I love that idea of having the cookie table and giving them a cookie if they fill out a survey. That's awesome.
Yeah, something that's, it's, as humans, we don't like to do a lot of things for free, but if you get something in return, it's more enticing. So I think it's just, you really need that information if you're doing something like a rebrand, or even just establishing these different pieces, like your personality, your overarching theme of your chorus. So yeah, it's a great way to get people to actually help you out. That says get a personality. That's whenever someone's creating a new company, but determine your personality. What is it? Try to figure out, it has such a huge effect on how you present yourself, like even as individuals, we have our own personal brand and we don't even realize it. Like you are be like, oh yeah, I know Patty. She's a nice person and she, held great events at Region 1. That's her brand for Patty. And our personalities create our own personal brand. And that's the same for a company, for an organization. You have a personality and it creates the brand of who people perceive you to be. So it's very important. Okay, so for create a logo or redesign a logo if you need to. And something that I didn't mention before, I'm just looking at my notes. Something important for logos, especially in the current visual world that we're in, is simple, scalable, and memorable. So scalable just means that you can have it be really small, you can have it be really big, and it looks great either way. Simple, that's just what people are preferring right now. And then memorable, you just want people to remember who you are. I think some really great there's a couple of really great logos that stand out to me as memorable, and I'll use one that's not in our region because I don't, it's just better that way. But has anybody ever seen the Sirens of Gotham logo?
Mm.
Okay. If you see it, it's hard to forget it. I'll pull it up for really quick. They
I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it. So
maybe it just, and you know what, it could be that it's attractive to me. And that's another thing, is like they target younger audiences, and so maybe what they have appeals to my generation. I don't know, but basically it's a circle, and it has this like mermaid made out of a treble clef, because they're sirens of Gotham, and it's just really simple, basic. It's very cool, and it speaks to who they are. It's very kind of edgy, but it has like the musical aspect and incorporates their name. So it's a very smart logo. Okay, so then the color palette, you want to have 1 to 3 primary colors, supported by secondary colors. Basically, that looks like, if your primary colors are blue, gray, and white, then your supporting colors are pink, light blue, and gray, or something like that. Okay. Typography, you just want to select typography that's appealing to the eye and doesn't overstimulate the viewer. And then select supporting graphics. Like I said, it's anytime you have an event, especially a larger scale event, have supporting graphics. Have a library for your chorus stuff that you're always able to pull from whenever you're going to create a flyer or a video or some sort of, really any marketing materials, so that you can be consistent, guys. That's my favorite word in marketing and branding, is consistency is key. Always, always, always use the same things all the time. Don't, if you need to know what program you can use to put a logo on a photo that you're going to share from a performance or something, ask me. If you need, you can put a logo on a video and just have it there. It's just so important that people see who made it, where it's from, and it's consistent, and it makes a difference in your community recognizing who you are. That's about all I have in terms of talking at you. I would really like to see what you guys think. If you have any questions about like why you came to this class, if you're feeling like you're wanting to revamp, like just talk to me and let me know what's going on, and we can have a little discussion here. Yes, Nadine.
Sure, I'll be brave and I'll talk.
Okay.
I'm actually not, haven't been involved with marketing ever in the chorus, but we unfortunately lost our marketing coordinator due to COVID. And so we're a little bit in the middle, but there's nothing happening right now. Our website looks like it's dead. It says like, oh, we'll be back like when COVID's over. This could still be a while before we get back on the risers. So two of us who we are on the management team for other reasons are thinking of maybe creating a video that says, this is who we are. This is what we do usually in normal times. We do competition, we have shows, we have fundraisers, we have all kinds of stuff, we have parties, and this is what we do now. So this is the whole picture of what the chorus is, and we would be able to put that video. I know there's other choruses who have videos on their website, like people can click on it. It's got the whole overview. And so we're trying to build that up. Neither of us having any experience in marketing whatsoever, but that would be, we don't have logo, our logo's fine, we have all this, but we just want to get out there and tell people, hey, we're here, come and join us now, or come and join us later when we're back on the risers.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would, be able to add it to our Facebook page, our website, and wherever else we can publish it to let people know that we're still around.
I think that's a great idea, Nadine. And I just
so anything that is helpful.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea that you guys have. And I'm really sorry that you lost your marketing coordinator. That's hard on multiple levels. And I think I'm glad you came to this class because it's a good representation of how to keep your course visible. But I think it would be, just speaking from an RMT, Patty's on the RMT too, like I think that it would be good for you guys to meet with me and maybe someone else from the regional management team, just to, that's a hard loss. And I think just us helping you get launched back into the right direction with your marketing, if you're open to that.
Yeah, we need all the help we can get.
All right, I will reach out to you privately about that. But thank you for sharing. I think going back to your idea about, during COVID, this is just a really hard time. And like being able to say, this is who we actually are. And yes, we are, doing Zoom right now as best we can, or whatever each course is doing. This is who we actually are. And this is what you get when you are with us or you see us, and we'll be back. It's kind of like the song that the RMT did last night on the show. It's we will be back, and keep putting stuff out there to show people who you are. And I think that's a brilliant plan. So yes, Leslie.
This has been really great for me. I'm actually involved. I'm in a new perspective course on the West Coast. So I'm actually in Arizona right now. And we're in the process of doing all of this development of creating our logo and, launching a website, trying to pick colors. I mean, just picking the name was painful. That took weeks just to decide on something. So
That's the hardest part, really.
It is. It was just, it was so painful. So anyway, but we came up with, we thought a great name. We're called Vocal Connection,
Nice.
which I really like. And, so we've contracted with, contract is a kind of a big word, but my daughter-in-law, who's a graphic designer, is in the process of creating the logo and everything for us now. So I really like the discussion about the colors and the image and everything. So thank you for that.
Of course. Yeah. And I think it's great that I love the name, first of all, and thank you for joining us. I know it's really early. You must have come in really early in the morning. I think it's awesome that you're working with a graphic designer, because they are trained to know complementary colors. And when she sends you your logo, she'll probably send you a primary color and secondary color palette, and just save that somewhere on your computer, or whoever you decide is your marketing coordinator's computer, and use that because they are so, for Royal River, we had a graphic designer do our logo too, and we used the color she gave us and nothing else, because she knows what she's talking about. So I think that's awesome that you guys are doing that, and congratulations on starting up a new group.
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting because we just started it, talking about it last October. And so we've already registered as a prospective, and we're having our first guest night on Monday, and we have 15 guests coming. So we're very excited.
Wow, that's
fabulous.
so awesome. Congratulations. Wow.
Leslie, where are you located exactly? What city?
I'm in Phoenix.
You're in Phoenix.
I'll be on the other side of town from Scottsdale Chorus. So when you say don't be competitive, that's that's the big chorus here.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody's interested in that kind of experience.
Which is fine. And I'm going to be in the Chandler area. I don't know if you know Arizona, but it's kind of on the most southern end of Phoenix.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
cool. Very cool. Anybody else? Questions about today, or just marketing in general, or your own input about what you're doing with your chorus right now, or quartet?
For my quartet, we're very long distance, so we obviously can't hang out during the pandemic or rehearse. We're like basically coast to coast. So when we do hang out, we take a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, have a lot of content, because we don't see each other a lot and we want like a backlog of stuff. So that's also a good thing to do, because when we're not together, we can still be active on our social media. So we're running out of stuff now because it's been so long, but just
time to meet again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, Amanda. Like if you guys are in a situation where your course is only meeting once a month, or do exactly what Amanda said so that you can stay consistently active on your social media. That's just consistency is the word I always use, and it's just so important in marketing. And Amanda, while you were talking, you guys, Patty had asked earlier about attracting younger members, and I know Amanda and Gail are having a class on that later. So if anybody here is interested in that topic, I really would recommend going to their class, because you can take that knowledge and apply it to marketing. So Amanda, what time is your class? Sorry, I don't have my schedule in front of me.
No worries. It's 1:30, and we
At
will be touching
1:30.
on it a little bit with social media, because that's a big part of it.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to go to that class. I would highly suggest, if that's something you want to learn, how to attract younger members. Gail and Amanda at 1:30.
I'm going to that one too. And what I've learned recently, all you older people like me, I'm 60. Young people like to watch a lot of videos.
Mhm. Yeah, I think in my last marketing class, I talked a lot about videos, where it's at. And video, there's statistics that 87% of people between the ages of 18 and 45 are more likely to watch a video than anything else. They will skip over a photo. They'll definitely skip over just text. So video stops people at least enough time to catch their attention and see who you are.
While you're all mulling this over, I have inserted some information into the chat, the evaluation link for this class. Also, the region is trying to build up a skills bank. No, you're not being wrangled into doing anything specific, but we just want to kind of have a bank of our members' skills. So I put a link into that survey as well. And then also Farmington Valley, since now, as you guys know, Region 1 members, our international bound groups usually have a table. And since we're not in person, we can't do that. So I've also inserted an information sheet about how to help them with their fundraiser.
Thank you, Patty. So guys, we have about 10 minutes left. I'm probably only going to take like 3 or 4 minutes left. Oh, go ahead, Rowie.
Okay, so this is a technical question.
Yep.
So if you put a link on the chat and I click it, then do you guys go away?
No.
Or do we say, is there a way to change the, save the chat? Or how is that helpful to us?
Yeah, you right click on your mouse if you're a right-handed person, and then copy the link.
How do you know how to copy it?
Okay, so hover your mouse over the link.
Yeah,
right?
and I right click, then all it says
Right click
select all.
and then select all.
What does that mean, select all?
You're basically copying that link, and then you'll go to your browser, whatever you use, Google, Chrome, whatever you use, then click on that, your search engine, right click and choose paste, right, Lala?
So then will this hold until this thing is over, or do I open up just something different now?
You can hold, yeah, it will hold.
I'm not a techie at all.
That's okay. You can also, what you can do is just click on it and it will open up in your browser, but we won't go away. You'll be able to come back to us.
Yeah, if you click on it, Rowie, it'll open up and you'll still be on Zoom. And then you can go out to it when the Zoom is over.
Yeah.
So click on it with the left thing?
Yep, just like you would anytime you open something. You just would click on it in the normal way.
Okay, so the picture went away, but I can still hear you, so that's good news.
Yep, so then you just want to click back on your Zoom logo and it'll pop. If you have a Zoom box on the bottom of your computer.
What it says is branding your image for marketing coordinators, so I don't think that's what it was. Is this the evaluation? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's.
Then what do I have to do?
Your Zoom should still be up in.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and then that link for the survey will stay up until you close it. So you'll be good to go. All right. So I just wanted.
Wait.
Sorry.
The Zoom thing is now on post attendee Zoom, and I don't have your pictures.
Let's see, it should be somewhere on your desktop What kind of computer do you have?
Zoom meeting maybe. Okay, thank you. Thank you for
There
your
you go. You're welcome.
Can you see us now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, guys. So I just want to thank you so much for coming to my class. I really, really appreciate it. I love teaching. I love helping choruses grow and learn. Again, I'm not an expert, but I can help in the ways that I can. And if you ever need one-on-one help, just reach out to me. I am very busy with the region, but I don't have anything going on majorly for a while, so I should be completely available. And I want to just say a couple things that are going to be coming up. I think I am going to do a workshopping thing. Maybe we can talk about, I don't know, I'm going to send out a poll or something to marketing people. And then when we get back in person at our first, whichever person event it is, I can't say what that is going to be at this point. If you are a Region 1 member, I'm going to be having two things. I'm going to be having a class that's a back-to-back class. You can bring your own computer, and we're going to go through and make a 1-minute promo video for your chorus. So it's going to be a workshop. I'm going to teach the basics, and then I'll come from station to station and help you with your processing. So I'm still developing that a little bit, but you'll walk out of the class with a promo video. And
That's cool.
yeah, and then what I'm going to start doing, Karen has been getting some requests for this at all in-person or regional events that we have classes. We have PVIs. I'm going to be doing MVI. So marketing, personal voice instruction. I'm going to have personal marketing instruction, PMIs. So you can come and have 30 minutes of one-on-one time with me to troubleshoot whatever your personal struggle is with your chorus, your quartet. If you're like, I just can't figure out how to get my logo to be on a photo, as an example, we can go through that. So those are some things that'll be coming up in person. And in the future for virtual world, I don't know. If I think I'm going to be teaching maybe one more class, but we shall see, because I'm hoping virtual land won't exist for much longer. So
Everybody get vaccinated. You can as soon as you can. We want to see you in person.
I'm glad you guys were all here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend.
The next class will be after lunch. We're going into lunch now. The next class is at 12:20.
Yep. So I'm just gonna
Thanks,
play a
Lala.
little. You're welcome. I'm glad you guys are all here. If you have any questions, feel free. Nadine, I'm gonna reach out to you soon.
Thanks. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Lala.
Thanks, Hannah. Thanks for being here. Bye, Kim. Bye, Christine. Bye, Linda.
Bye, Cups.
Bye, Andrea. Bye, Jeannie. Guys, have fun. Have a good lunch. Thank you, Patty.
Yeah, what am I going to have for lunch? That's a more important question.
All right. And you recorded this, right?
I did. Oh, yeah,
All right.
thanks. I got to stop recording it. I always forget the stopping part.